This is a story of modern people traveling westward with a shopping mall system. Accidentally bringing the mall system to the mythological world, with the golden finger, can we become invincible? Keywords of the novel. Journey to the West with a shopping mall without a pop-up window. Download the complete TXT collection of Journey to the West with a shopping mall, and read the latest chapters of Journey to the West with a shopping mall. Leave ==. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I drank too much and felt a bit confused. I just wrote over 500 and couldn't hold it anymore. I'm sorry. Chapter 1. Crossing into a cat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Zhen is very depressed now, very depressed. Playing games at home, how could you suddenly come into the forest? Okay, Yang Zhen knows he has traveled through time, but just travel through time. Why do you have to travel into the body of a cat, and it's such a cute cat? How can you make Yang Zhen feel embarrassed? Good, you thief. Oh my goodness. Okay, I admit Yang Zhen just weakly cursed in his heart. After all, things like traveling have happened. If there were a spirit in the old days, then Yang Zhen would curse the heavens as a fortress, and perhaps he would be punished by heaven. I just don't know if God would know, muttering in his heart. Your sister. Lying on the edge of the river, Yang Zhen looked at the reflection in the river and secretly roasted. Why do you want to be so cute? It's shameful to be cute. Cats are better than spiders, ants, caterpillars, and so on. After all, we have 9 lives. After a struggle, Yang Zhen accepted his fate and turned into a cat. Is there anything more explosive than this? Yang Zhen was originally an inconspicuous college student on Earth. On this day, it was raining heavily, and Yang Zhen was hiding alone in a rental room, playing an online game adapted from Journey to the West. In order to make a name for himself in the game, Yang Zhen was so determined that he took out his online banking app and charged 5,000 renminbi into the game. He took advantage of the fact that the game had just launched a new server, and after building characters, he plunged into the game. 5,000 yuan was exchanged for 50,000 yuan worth of ingots, which gave rise to the capital of the Zongheng server. After Yang Zhen entered the game, the first thing he did was to open the game mall and see what treasures there were that could be used at level 0. Soon, Yang Zhen discovered a pet egg in the pet classification. Premium pet egg. Randomly obtain pets with blue quality or higher, with a chance to obtain divine beasts. Price. 1,000 yuan. By the way, a pet egg worth 100 renminbi is quite expensive in the game. And with a top-notch pet, we have a great advantage in the game. We don't expect an orange, divine beast, one anymore. As long as you can give me a purple quality pet, it can be used for dozens of levels without changing. Buying a pet egg was originally just a trivial matter, but the strange thing is that Yang Zhen lost his will inexplicably before he could open it and see its quality. When Yang Zhen woke up again, he found himself transformed into a cute little cat, and his surroundings had transformed from a rented house to a dense forest. Meow. Yang Zhen was climbing on a huge rock by the river, intending to bask in the sun and take a nap. Unexpectedly, as soon as Yang Zhen closed his eyes, the game's mall interface appeared inexplicably in front of him. Is this the welfare of the traveler? Yang Zhen casually flipped through the items in the mall, which was the mall system of the game he played before his time traveling. The number of ingots in the mall was still 49,000, and after Yang Zhen bought a pet egg, the remaining ingots were exactly this number. Everything is clear now. Oh, buy it. If I hadn't traveled through time, the pet egg I bought would have come out as a cat. That is to say, I am that pet egg. Thinking of this, Yang Zhen's eyes were filled with tears and he stared silently at the sky. He asked in his heart, why? Why didn't I get attached to the game character, but to the pet? You know, the game character I built is super handsome. In the upper right corner of the mall, there is a separate small window where a white kitten lazily lies, which is exactly what Yang Zhen looks like at this moment. There is also a row of text below the white cat, level 0, VIP 8, the legendary cat. Gaishi God Cat. Yil Yao Dai. I am actually a legendary cat. Yang Zhen was shocked. Of course, it was not because of the speechless and extreme name, the godly cat, that shocked him, but because of the color of the name. I'll strangle it, it's actually orange. I'm a divine beast. Divine beasts, there are trees. After learning that he had actually driven a divine beast, Yang Zhen suddenly felt a cool feeling that rushed straight to the sky. If he hadn't traveled through time, he could have walked horizontally in the game. Okay, please forgive Yang Zhen for still thinking about the game at this time. As for VIP level 8 and similar items, they will be given as long as the money is charged. Although Yang Zhen is currently only a beginner at level 0 divine beasts are also divine beasts. I remember Yang Zhen read a post before that even if he reaches level 10 to defeat elite monsters, it is not difficult. Quickly becoming taller, richer, and more handsome, with wood and wood. From now on, I will be a VIP level 8 divine beast. After the surprise, Yang Zhen suddenly thought of a question. How should he upgrade? Do you want me to go fight monsters? As soon as he thought of it, Yang Zhen jumped down from the boulder and came to the riverbank again. As a fish swam by, Yang Zhen waved his right hand fiercely. Sure enough, it was his right paw, and with one paw, he sent the fish's soul back to the underworld. No sensation, what about experience? Where is the experience bar? Didn't I travel with the game? Is there no experience bar for swelling? This is not scientific. Yang Zhen didn't give up and killed a few more fish, but it was still the same. Those who experienced divine horses were simply deceiving, and killing monsters couldn't be upgraded at all. What should I do? Yang Zhen suddenly lost all his strength. Should I be like this for the rest of my life? Be a cat for a lifetime, then look for a mother cat, and finally give birth to a litter of kittens. How could my life be like this? I'm just playing games and haven't offended anyone. Which immortal is playing with me? Who can save me? Wait a moment. Yang Zhen frowned and guessed to himself, I was playing a game set in Journey to the West. Since I traveled through the game mall, wouldn't that mean I might have traveled to the world of Journey to the West? If that's the case, then I should be a demon now, maybe I can even cultivate into an adult. Wow, caca. With this idea, Yang Zhen couldn't help but feel a hint of longing in his heart. Cultivating into an immortality, who doesn't want it, even if Yang Zhen can only be a demon now, but that's also good. As long as he can transform back into a human form and compound his own aesthetics, then everything is not a problem. The first thing to do now is to confirm whether the world you are in is actually the world of Journey to the West. But what should we do? Go to Huagua Mountain. Yang Zhen said that he is now a road enthusiast and can't even find it. Go ask someone else. Yang Zhen said that he is now a cat. What should he say when encountering people? What should I do if there are more monsters and I don't have any spells? If there is danger, what should I do? I'm at a loss. Finally, Yang Zhen decided to first find a place where there was a gathering of living organisms, and then. Step by step. Chapter 2. I also have cultivation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gollum. Yang Zhen was about to leave to search for other creatures, but when he turned around and saw a few small fish on the ground, his stomach began to scream uncontrollably. People are iron, and food is steel. Not eating a meal makes one feel hungry. Only when you are full can you have the strength to do things. After convincing himself, Yang Zhen began to worry about eating again. Can't I go eat raw? Looking at the few small fish on the ground, Yang Zhen extended his tongue and licked them. Damn it. It's so disgusting, it's fishy and slippery, and there's a strange feeling. If eaten raw, it's like torture. How about finding some wild fruits to satisfy your hunger? Yang Zhen thought to himself. I don't know if it's because he turned into a cat, but whenever Yang Zhen saw those small fish, he couldn't help but drool and crave food. This idea made Yang Zhen feel very scared, and I won't have the same feeling when I see mice in the future. Nanwu Ami Tofu. Don't do it. In no other way, Yang Zhen could only open the mall system again and flip to the pet section to see if he could find some useful things. On the first page of the pet bar, besides top-quality pet eggs, there are also some gift packages and other things that are the most annoying. Whether in his past or present life, Yang Zhen is not prepared to buy such things. On the second page, there are some auxiliary items such as pet skill advancement stones and pet double experience pills. Although the item is good, it's not needed yet. It's not too late to buy it when you can practice in the future. Flip another page and you'll find a pet skill book or something like that. I don't know if I can learn skills now. If I hadn't traveled through time, I might have bought countless high-level skills for my divine level pets to learn. Seeing the pet skills, Yang Zhen couldn't help but brighten his eyes, but then he also worried that using skills requires blue. With his current situation, he doesn't know if he still has blue. Struggling, fearing wolves before and fearing tigers after will never achieve great things. With determination, Yang Zhen found an advanced skill called Nanming Lihua Mantra, and bought it. Nanming Lihua Mantra. Advanced pet skill, fire control spell, level 0, can summon ordinary flames, 500 ingots. Yang Zhen once searched online for information on pet skill levels. The skills of pets are divided into 10 levels. If this Nanming Lihua Mantra is upgraded to level 5, it can summon Sanwei True Fire. If it is upgraded to level 10, it can summon Sun True Fire. If based on the data in the game, it is said that Sun True Fire can increase spell damage by 1200%, which is very impressive. Of course, from game testing to Yang Zhen starting to play, I haven't heard of anyone who can elevate pet skills to level 10. The skill advancement stones in the mall can only be upgraded to level 5. To reach a higher level, you must defeat a boss. Of course, with the already low explosion rate and the setting of picking and binding, there are not many people who can accumulate enough skills to advance to the level of stones. It may take several years to play. After all, upgrading skills requires doubling the number of skill stepping stones. Upgrading from level 0 to level 1 requires 1 stepping stone, upgrading from level 1 to level 2 requires 2, upgrading from level 2 to level 3 requires 4, upgrading from level 3 to level 4 requires 8, and so on. Upgrading from level 9 to level 10 requires 512 skill stepping stones, which most people may not be able to accumulate. After purchasing, a new window suddenly appeared in the mall. May I ask if you have learned the Nanming Lihua Mantra? Since I bought it, of course I have to learn. After clicking Confirm, yellow flames of light suddenly appeared around Yang Zhen, countless golden lights flickering with dazzling lights, very beautiful and mysterious, giving people a feeling of unreality, which was so unreal. After rotating outside Yang Zhen for a moment, Jin Guang began to enter his body in sequence, one after another, transforming into a magical force that flowed into Yang Zhen's body. Subsequently, countless mysterious symbols suddenly appeared in mid-air, each imprinted on Yang Zhen's body and slowly entered his body. After a moment, the light disappeared without a trace, while Yang Zhen pondered everything just now in a daze. It was truly shocking. Yang Zhen was already impatient with the scenes of learning skills in the game. After all, they were just special effects, and he didn't know how many more beautiful ones he had seen. But this time the special effects appeared by Yang Zhen's side. It was a real feeling. And when those rays of light and spells entered Yang Zhen's body, the exhilarating sensation that rushed straight to his soul also left a lasting impression on him. Yang Zhen wished he could immediately learn his skills again and experience the feeling he had just experienced. Fortunately, Yang Zhen was still somewhat rational and suppressed this idea in a hurry. After learning the skills, Yang Zhen suddenly had a realization in his mind. The Nanming Lihua mantra was clearly imprinted on Yang Zhen's soul, as if it could be easily used. With a thought, Yang Zhen clearly felt an energy running in his body. Then, a flame sprayed out of Yang Zhen's mouth and directly onto the opposite rock, burning it black. After spraying out the flames again, Yang Zhen clearly felt that there was a decrease in energy in his body. Without it, there is a comparison. Yang Zhen feels that this energy is about 1/10 of the total energy, which means that currently Yang Zhen can still use the Nanming Lihua mantra 9 times. That's right, even level 0 trumpets have blue, but in this world, blue should be called magic. It seems that the most important thing at present is to find a way to cultivate. However, before that, it is still necessary to determine whether the world you are in is actually the world of journey to the west. Yang Zhen is already satisfied with the damage caused by the Nanming Lihua mantra. It should be noted that the level 0 Nanming Lihua mantra can only use ordinary flames, but as long as it reaches level 5, it can summon Sanwei True Fire, which is a divine fire that even Sun Monkey is afraid of. Wow, Kaka. Just think of it and do it. Upgrading a skill to level 5 requires 31 skill advancement stones, which is 310 ingots. However, for Yang Zhen, who has recharged 5,000 renminbi, it is still affordable to consume. However, in this way, after buying pet eggs and skill books, there are only 48,190 yuan left for the original 50,000 yuan ingots. It is still necessary to save them, as they cannot be recharged in this world. Before finding a way to recharge ingots, save as much as possible. Using his claws, he treated the small fish briefly, then arranged several small fish side by side on the rocks. Yang Zhen carefully controlled the flames and cooked the first big meal for the cat. Due to the fact that the Nanming Lihua mantra was learned by Yang Zhen through systematic judgment, Yang Zhen is particularly adept at using it. Even for techniques like grilling fish, there is no pressure and there is no need to worry about grilling the fish. However, what made Yang Zhen frustrated was that after upgrading the Nanming Lihua mantra to level 5, it actually consumed half of his body's mana when used. As a result, Yang Zhen only needed to use the Nanming Lihua mantra twice to lose his mana. Am I the legendary fast shooter? No. In order not to become a fast shooter, Yang Zhen was even more eager to find a way to cultivate. Chapter 3. The Heart of Seeking the Way. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the desolate ancient road, a small shadow came from afar and soon approached. Upon closer inspection, it was a snow-white kitten with a body length of only 50 centimeters. Its eyes were clear as water and bright as a mirror, full of mysterious colors and very attractive. The first impression this cat gives is that it is strange, but I don't know where it came from or where it is going. This cat is Yang Zhen, who has traveled from the 21st century. From the beginning of his journey to the present, Yang Zhen has been living in this world for a month. Although Yang Zhen has not yet determined whether this world belongs to Journey to the West, judging from this month's time, he is afraid that he will never leave. Because Yang Zhen had witnessed the scene of monsters eating people with his own eyes, he saw that the monster transformed from a half-human and half-beast form into a monster form, and then swallowed the family in one bite before calmly driving away in a demonic wind. Moreover, humans in this world are not unfamiliar with monsters. Although they are very afraid of monsters, this does not prevent them from making them a topic of conversation in their daily lives. When Yang Zhen was wandering around human cities, he would occasionally hear people talking about topics such as, where are monsters causing trouble again? Sometimes the government would also post notices to seek out some righteous people to come and subdue demons. Although Yang Zhen really wants to live in the cities where humans live, he has to flee from them for some reason. Speaking of which, being too cute sometimes doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. After Yang Zhen was discovered in a human city, there have always been people who wanted to take him back as a pet. Although Yang Zhen is only in the form of a cat now, he doesn't have the habit of wanting to be raised by humans, it's really scary. After leaving the human city, Yang suddenly remembered the oath he had made at the beginning of his journey. To cultivate into an adult. Just like the demon that Yang saw before, although it was only in the form of a half-human and half-beast, it was still much better than the current animal form. Having set his goal, Yang was about to take the first step towards achieving it, learning from his mentor. Although there are many skill books for pets in the mall, there are no techniques that can be practiced. Therefore, for Yang at this stage, the first step is to find a famous teacher to guide him. After having cultivation, the skill books in the mall can be useful. When Yang first came, he was completely oblivious to the world and didn't know anything about it. He didn't know where to go even if he wanted to become a teacher. In the absence of any other options, Yang could only travel around. Whenever he encountered a beautiful fairy mountain, he would go up the mountain to search for the legendary fairy. Even if there was no fairy, a big demon would suffice. In this way, a year passed in a blink of an eye, and Yang didn't know how far he had gone. He only knew that when he was hungry, he would eat wild animals and fruits, and when he was thirsty, he would drink spring water in the mountains. Every day, he would explore the mountains and water while searching for immortals and paths. Although his life was simple, he was still carefree. Over the past year, Yang had countless thoughts of wanting to give up, but he remembered that when son Wukong asked Bodhi in Journey to the West, he had been searching for Bodhi for nearly 10 years. If he couldn't hold on for even a year, wouldn't he be even worse than a monkey? And those who have achieved success in cultivation are all those with great wisdom, perseverance, and great opportunities. Wisdom and opportunity are aside for now. If Yang doesn't even have perseverance, then there's no talk of cultivating into an immortal. I'm afraid those immortals will look down on him. In this way, Yang gradually strengthened his pursuit of the Tao and no longer had that urgent mood. Instead, he searched for his own opportunities with a playful attitude. As he was walking, Yang vaguely heard cries for help coming from afar. Upon closer inspection, it turned out that another monster had attacked the human village. Over the past year, Yang has often encountered such situations. He found that the monsters here seem to be rampant, and incidents of monsters eating people happen almost every day. However, no immortal has ever managed them. Occasionally, some Taoist monks come to subdue demons, but they are often subdued by those big demons. Sometimes Yang suspects that this world is not the world of Journey to the West at all. The conspiracy theories I saw online before seem like the monsters in Journey to the West are very weak. Why are the monsters here so rampant? They seem to be reckless in killing people and setting fires. Quickly running over, as expected, a monster with a tiger head and a human body was killing people everywhere in the small village. Behind the tiger, there were several strange-shaped little monsters responsible for carrying the body. Although some young people in the village also got together and fought with the tiger demon with an axe and a shovel, they had no choice. The tiger demon's cultivation was not weak, just waved the mace in his hand, and those who dared to resist vomited blood and flew away. Then the tiger demon took the mace to smash these people one by one, and then the little demons would rush forward to carry these dead people up, ready to carry them back to the cave for more careful tasting. After Yang arrived, he saw such a scene. Meow. With a soft cry, Yang opened his mouth and spat out 3 flavors of true fire, spraying towards the leading tiger demon. Although the cultivation of tiger demons is much higher than Yang, and even those little demons who resist corpses have higher cultivation than Yang, how can they withstand the burning of the 3 flavors true fire? Before Sanwei Zhenhua could approach her body, the fur of the tiger demon burned in the extremely hot temperature. At the moment when the 3 Zhenhua truly appeared, the tiger demon had no chance to resist and was burned to ashes. But Yang, who was hiding in the dark, controlled Sanwei Zhenhua to make a big turn in the air and burn towards those little demons. If you don't use Sanwei Zhenhua, not to mention the leading tiger demon, even those little demons, Yang is not a match. But after all, Sanwei true fire is a flame of extremely high level, even Sun Wukong, who has the invincible body of King Kong, cannot withstand it, let alone these impure little demons. When the three flavors true fire was extinguished by Yang Zhen, both the tiger demon and those little demons were burned to death. Although Yang Zhen in this life can be considered a monster, his essence is human. During his enlightenment, he received education from humans as well. Therefore, although this life is the body of a cat, Yang Zhen still regards himself as a human being. Therefore, whenever Yang Zhen sees a scene where monsters eat people, he will lend a helping hand whenever he can. Perhaps after Yang Zhen leaves, these people will be eaten by other monsters, but Yang Zhen still intends to do his little bit to help these people who have no resistance. It was precisely for this reason that Yang Zhen gave up the idea of finding some big demons to learn art. Yang Zhen believes that as long as he works hard to find, he will definitely be able to find a fairy who is willing to accept him. After killing these monsters, Yang Zhen embarked on the journey of searching for immortals and asking questions again. Another 5 years of time have passed. In these 5 years, Yang Zhen's pursuit of the Tao has become even more determined. Even in the face of any difficult situation, Yang Zhen never thought of giving up. Along the way, Yang Zhen has unconsciously completed a transformation, completely breaking away from the previous otaku mentality and becoming a cat dedicated to seeking the Tao. Chapter 4. Monkeys. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On this day, Yang Zhenong climbed a high mountain. Although he did not encounter a hermit expert, he saw another immortal mountain from afar. I saw 1,000 peaks open their halberds, and 10,000 feet open their screens. The sun reflects the blue light and locks the green, while the rain collects the dark color with a cold hint of blue. The withered vines entangle the old trees, and the ancient fairy boundary is a secluded journey. Qihua Ruizao, Xiuzhu Qiao Song. Xiuzhu Qiao Song, for thousands of years evergreen bully the blessed land, Qihua Rui Chao, for seasons not CSI Pingying. The chirping of birds is approaching, and the sound of the source is clear. Surrounded by numerous valleys and orchids, moss grows everywhere on the cliffs. The undulating dragon veins are good, and there must be hidden names of experts. Excerpted from the original text of Journey to the West, seeing the beautiful scenery of this mountain and the deep forest foothills, Yang Zhen couldn't help but feel a little happy in his heart. In the past few years, Yang Zhen had never seen such a mountain terrain before. He could only see strange flowers, auspicious grass, and immortal energy rising in the mountains. If there were really immortals, they would definitely live in such mountains and forests. Thinking of this, Yang Zhen couldn't wait to descend the mountain and run quickly towards the immortal mountain. At this moment, Yang Zhen suddenly had a clear understanding, as if what he had been looking for in the past 6 years was right in front of him. After entering Xianshan, Yang Zhen heard waves of singing coming from afar. Observing the rotten chess, cutting wood and ding-ding, walking slowly at the mouth of the valley by the clouds, selling salaries and wine, laughing wildly at Tao Qing. The autumn sky is clear and clear, with the moon resting on pine roots, feeling the dawn of the day. Recognizing the old forest, climbing cliffs and crossing mountains, wielding an axe to break the withered vines. Harvesting a load, singing in the market, 3 liters of rice are exchanged. There is no competition, the current price is average, and one does not know how to plan cleverly. There is no honor or disgrace, and tranquility prolongs life. When they meet, they are neither immortal nor Taoist, sitting quietly and talking about the Yellow Court. Upon hearing this song, Yang Zhen felt even more delighted in his heart. You should know that if a hermit wants others to know him, he will definitely teach some nearby mountain and wild villagers how to sing. Do you not see Liu Bei meeting Zhuge Liang for the first time? As soon as he arrived at Wulonggang, he heard someone singing the lyrics written by Zhuge Liang. In Journey to the West, Sun Wukong's first visit to Fangsuan Mountain was also accompanied by a woodcutter singing the lyrics taught by Bodhi Laozu. At this moment, Yang Zhen was truly refreshed. Following the song, Yang Zhen walked into the mountains and forests. Before he could walk much further, he saw a woodcutter arguing with a monkey about something. "That's right, it's just arguing with the monkey." The monkey said, "You're not a fairy, how can you speak the words of a fairy?" The woodcutter said, "What immortal words did I say?" The monkey said again, "I was at the edge of the forest just now, and all I heard you say was, when we meet, we are not immortals, but the way. Let's sit still and talk about Huang Ting. Huang Ting is a moral truth, not a divine being. What is it?" The woodcutter smiled and said, "To be honest, this word is called Man Ting Fang. It was taught to me by a deity. That deity is next to me. When he saw my family's hard work and daily troubles, he taught me to recite this word. One is to distract me, and the other is to solve my difficulties. I only have some shortcomings to consider, so I recite it. I don't want you to hear it." The Monkey King said, "Since your family is neighbors with immortals, why don't you practice with them? Learning the art of immortality is not very good." After listening for a moment, Yang Zhen finally realized that. Wasn't this the scene when Sun Wukong apprenticed to Fang Kunshan? Did you indeed come into the world of Journey to the West? Is that monkey Sun Wukong? Thinking of this, Yang Zhen quickly jumped out and asked the woodcutter, "Since you are neighbors with the immortals, please guide them to their residence so that I can visit them." The monkey quickly bowed and said, "Exactly. Exactly." Upon hearing this, the woodcutter smiled and said, "Not far, not far. This mountain is called Lingtai Fangsuan Mountain. In the mountain, there is a 3-star slanting moon cave. In that cave, there is a deity named Subhuti Ancestor. The disciples taught by the ancestor are countless, and there are still 30 to 40 people practicing with him to this day. Follow that small path and walk south for 7 or 8 miles, which is his dojo." After listening to the woodcutter's guidance, Yang Zhen nodded and said, "Thank you, thank you." The monkey originally wanted the woodcutter to go with him, but was rejected. Seeing this, the monkey stopped persuading him and instead walked up to Yang Zhen's side in 3 or 2 steps, asking, "Little cat, are you also here to learn the art of immortality as a disciple?" Seeing Sun Wukong taking the initiative to inquire, Yang Zhen also wanted to establish a relationship with him. He said, "Yes, I have been born with spiritual intelligence for several years, and it is not until today that I have found the immortal cave. If I can become a disciple, I must study and practice diligently. I am from Dongxing Shenzhou, Aolai Country, Huagua Mountain, and Shuimen Cave." "Where are you from?" the monkey asked. Upon hearing this, Yang Zhen shook his head and said, "I don't know either. The place where I was born doesn't have much reputation, but I think it's also here in Xinyouzhou." Yang Zhen and the monkey walked about 6 or 7 miles and indeed saw a cave. Only see. Smoke and rosy clouds scatter, and the sun and moon sway and shine. 1,000 old cypresses, 10,000 knots of pruning. 1,000 old cypresses, with rain in the air, green and gentle, 10,000 years of pruning, a valley full of smoke and a pale color. Outside the door, there are strange flowers and brocade, and by the bridge, the fragrant yao grass sprays. The rocky cliff stands out with lush green moss, and the hanging walls are tall and verdant with long moss. At times, I hear the crane tremble, and every time I see a phoenix soaring. When the crane is trembling, its voice vibrates in the distant sky of Jiugao and Han, the phoenix rises, with its feathers and colorful clouds shining brightly. Mysterious apes and white deer follow in seclusion, while golden lions and jade elephants remain hidden. Take a closer look at the blessed land, it's truly a paradise. I saw the cave door tightly closed again, quiet and without a trace. Suddenly turning around, I saw a stone tablet standing on the cliff, about 3 feet high and 8 feet wide. There was a row of 10 big characters on it, which read, Lingtai Fangsuan Mountain, 3 stars cave under the leaning moon. Excerpted from the original text of Journey to the West. Seeing this, the monkey was very happy and said, the people here are indeed simple and have really found the cave of the immortals. Monkey, go knock on the door. Seeing that this was indeed the dojo of Subhuti ancestor, Yang Zhen was overjoyed and asked the monkey to come forward and knock on the door. The monkey listened and walked to the door, raised its hand, but did not knock for a long time. Looking back at Yang Zhen, the monkey asked, "Little cat, why don't you knock?" Upon hearing this, Yang Zhen helplessly raised his front paws and said in frustration, "I can't reach it." Monkey. Before the monkey could knock on the door, all he heard was a creak. The cave door opened wide, and inside came a fairy child, who was truly magnificent and looked strange. The fairy asked, "Who is bothering me here?" The monkey rushed up to Xian Tong and bowed, saying, "Xian Tong, I am a disciple of visiting Taoist immortals, and I dare not disturb you here." Xian Tong smiled and said, "Are you a Taoist visitor?" The Monkey King said, "Exactly." The fairy said, "My master has just stayed up and preached on the altar." Before I could explain the reason, he taught me to come out and open the door. He said, "There are 2 cultivators coming outside, can you go and receive them?" "It must be you." The monkey laughed and said, "It's me, it's me." Xian Tong glanced at Yang Zhen and said, "Then come with me." Yang Zhen and the monkey exchanged a glance and quickly followed the fairy boy inside. "This will be the place where I can achieve my dreams," Yang Zhen said firmly to himself as he looked at the magnificent 3-star cave under the slanting moon. Chapter 5. Grape Ancestors. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The identity of Master Subhuti in Journey to the West is extremely mysterious. Apart from teaching son Wukong magic and supernatural powers at the beginning, he has never appeared again. It is reasonable to say that such a master should be very famous in the 3 realms. Moreover, Fansuan Mountain is located in Xinyo-Hezhou, and Tang Monk also had to travel to Xinyo-Hezhou during his western journey. However, this Subhuti patriarch has never appeared again, as if he had evaporated. Sun Wukong caused a commotion in the heavenly palace, but he did not appear. Sun Wukong was suppressed on the 5 Elements Mountain, and he did not appear either. It is precisely because of this that many versions of the conspiracy theory of Journey to the West appeared online in Yang Zhen's past life. No matter what the identity of this Subhuti ancestor is, Yang Zhen will soon be able to see him. Nervous. A little bit. Looking forward to it. There's also a little bit. In short, Yang Zhen's current mood can be described as mixed with 5 flavors. He is afraid that Grandmaster Subhuti will see his identity, and also worried that Grandmaster Subhuti will not teach him divine abilities. In short, on the journey of meeting the founder of Subhuti, Yang Zhen's heart was filled with ups and downs. Fortunately, this journey was not long, and Yang Zhen soon met the legendary ancestor of Subhuti. Grandmaster Subhuti was dressed in Taoist attire, with a flowing white beard and a fairy-like demeanor, exuding a true and immortal demeanor. But Yang Zhen knew that this Subhuti patriarch was not only proficient in the true teachings of Taoism, but also in the supernatural powers of Buddhism, and his cultivation was even more profound and unfathomable. Although this appearance is similar to those fortune tellers on the streets, in terms of skills, the 2 are definitely a cloud of mud. As soon as the monkey saw Grandmaster Subhuti, it fell down and bowed down, kowtowing countless times and calling out to its master. Seeing the monkey so shameful, Yang Zhen was speechless for a moment. This monkey is not only innocent now, but also not very knowledgeable about human relationships and worldly wisdom, far from being as mature as when he traveled to the West. Walking to the side of the monkey, Yang Zhen also bowed and said, "I sincerely seek the Tao and ask my ancestor to accept me as my disciple." Upon hearing someone speak, Grandmaster Subhuti opened his slightly mesmerized eyes and said, "Where are you from? Please give me the name of the local official and then bow down." Upon hearing the question from Patriarch Subhuti, the monkey hurriedly said, "My disciple is from the Water Curtain Cave in Huagua Mountain, Aolai Country, Dongxing Shenzhou." Unexpectedly, upon hearing the words of the monkey, Grandmaster Subhoodie scolded on the spot, "Get out of here." He was originally a fraud and troublemaker. What kind of Taoist fruit was he cultivating there? The monkey heard this and quickly kowtowed, saying incessantly, "I am an honest person, and I will never be deceitful." Upon hearing this, Patriarch Subhoodie waved back the disciples who had captured the monkey and asked the monkey, "Since you are honest, how can you say that Dongxing Divine Continent is here? How can you get this place to me, separated by 2 oceans, a southern supporting continent?" The monkey respectfully said, "I have been wandering across the sea, exploring the world for over 10 years before I finally arrived here." Grandmaster Subhoodie asked the monkey a few more questions and gave him the name Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong, who was delighted, flipped around and was extremely happy. After asking Sun Wukong, Grandmaster Subhoodie turned his gaze to Yang Zhen and asked, "Where are you from, this little cat?" Seeing that Grandmaster Subhoodie finally noticed himself, Yang Zhen didn't dare to be careless and respectfully said, "My disciple is from Hezhou, Xinyo." After my disciple's spiritual intelligence opened up, he searched everywhere for immortals and asked, "Where is my hometown? I have long forgotten. I have traveled to human cities before, so I named myself Yang Zhen based on human names." You and Wukong are both disciples of the 10th generation. Although you have no cultivation, your spiritual intelligence surpasses most demons. In the future, you will be called Wuji. Grandmaster Subhoodie generously gave Yang Zhen the title of ignorant and nodded in satisfaction. Although feeling extremely depressed, Yang Zhen dared not refuse and quickly nodded in response, "Thank you, Master, Disciple." "Your form is not very convenient," Subhoodie said inexplicably, then waved his hand and a mysterious light flew into Yang Zhen's body. After absorbing this mysterious light, Yang Zhen's body surprisingly shone brightly. Those disciples with low cultivation covered their eyes with their hands for a moment, blocking the dazzling light. After the light had passed, the original white cat had disappeared, but instead a 7 or 8-year-old child appeared. I saw this little boy with a delicate and handsome appearance, very likable. Dressed in spotless white clothes, he looked even more like a fairy than the previous one. However, Yang Zhen's essence is ultimately a demon. Although his body has been transformed under the power of Grandmaster Subhoodie, some of the demon's characteristics have not been eliminated. Originally, Yang Zhen was transformed into a human being. Although he was still young, he was also very handsome. Unfortunately, 2 cat's ears, steamed cat-ear-shaped bread, stuck up on his head, which seemed to be moving towards the direction of cuteness. Fortunately, it has become a human being, and Yang Zhen has completely ignored this small flaw. After 6 years of being a cat, I finally became a human at this moment. Upon receiving the benefits, Yang Zhen bowed to Master Subhoodie and said, "Thank you, disciple." Hee. Grandmaster Subhoodie smiled slightly and said, "This way it will be much more convenient." Subsequently, Patriarch Subhoodie ordered his disciples to arrange accommodation for Yang Zhen and Sun Wukong, and taught them the etiquette of their sect. After getting to know his fellow disciples, Yang Zhen said goodbye and returned to his room alone. Thinking about today's adventure, it's really unbelievable that I was worshipped by Subhoodie with Sun Wukong. It's really exciting to think about it. Yang Zhen lay on the small bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep, constantly thinking about things in his mind. One moment is Sun Wukong, another moment is the heavenly Jade Emperor, and another moment is the Western Buddha. Anyway, today is so happy. Yang Zhen felt for the first time that life was so wonderful. Thinking of Sun Wukong, Yang Zhen felt a bit conflicted. If you follow Sun Wukong in the early stage, it will definitely be delicious and spicy, and the peach fairy pill is indispensable. But the difficulty lies in the fact that Sun Wukong had to make a big fuss in the heavenly palace behind him and was suppressed for 500 years. This kind of matter cannot be handled well, but it will suffer. But if you don't follow Sun Wukong, it's impossible to eat peaches and elixirs. And 500 years later, Sun Wukong embarked on a journey to the west and directly became a Buddha, which is something that many people cannot achieve for hundreds of lifetimes. Overall, Sun Wukong has a background, and for little girls like Yang Zhen who have no background, if they want to eat peaches and elixirs, they may have to follow Sun Wukong. When it's too big to cause trouble in the heavenly palace, just find a way to escape. Moral integrity or something, it's really not worth it. So, Yang Zhen thought of his little plan and slowly fell asleep. That night, Yang Zhen had a dream. In his dream, Yang Zhen saw himself becoming a peerless demon, awe-inspiring the three realms. Fist the Jade Emperor, kick the Tathagata, hold countless beautiful women, and have millions of subordinates. In the end, I became a saint and never perished. Chapter 6. Double Experience Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, Patriarch Subhuti gathered his disciples and sat high on the stage, talking about the elusive way of heaven. The Venerable Subhuti had an extremely high cultivation level, and when speaking of the Tao, he naturally stood out from the crowd. That's really dazzling, with golden lotus blooming on the ground. Miao Yen Sanqing teaches with exquisite and comprehensive techniques. Slowly shake the Zhu tail and spray the pearl jade, resounding and thundering for 9 days. Speak for a while, meditate for a while, and the three schools of thought work together in harmony. The word, enlightened, converts to sincere principles, guiding the non-born nature of mystery. Yang Zhen sat on a futon under the high platform, attentively listening to the teachings of Master Subhuti. Although the teachings of Master Subhuti were profound and difficult to understand, Yang Zhen had a feeling of enlightenment, as if the ultimate principles of heaven and earth were right in front of him, and he could reach out and touch them. But when Yang Zhen reached out to touch the ethereal road of heaven and earth, he found that he couldn't reach it yet. Although it is only a little short of being able to glimpse the heavenly way and master the mysteries of heaven and earth, each time it is only a little short. It was just a little bit, but it seemed like a heavenly barrier, isolating Yang Zhen from the heavenly Tao. This feeling made Yang Zhen extremely uncomfortable, and he wished he could quickly cross the heavenly moat and grasp the ultimate principles of the heavenly way. As soon as Elder Subhuti started speaking, Yang Zhen became addicted to it. I saw Yang Zhen's face sometimes filled with inexplicable surprises, then became anxious, and sometimes frowned, with an expression that could be described as unpredictable. This is the scene where one realizes the way of heaven, but is eager to find it. Since Pangu created heaven and earth, countless creatures have been nurtured in the wilderness. How many creatures with deep roots and extraordinary backgrounds have pursued the heavenly way throughout their lives, but in the end, they only touch the tip of the iceberg of the heavenly way, but just the tip of the iceberg is already extremely extraordinary. Since Emperor Subhuti began preaching, his gaze has never left the figure of Sun Wukong. Seeing Sun Wukong scratching his ears and cheeks, with a smile on his face, he couldn't help but smile slightly and mutter to himself, "This spiritual stone monkey is indeed extraordinary, and the way of heaven is elusive and unpredictable. This monkey can understand the Tao for the first time and truly extraordinary." Thinking of the beauty, even with the cultivation of Emperor Subhuti, he couldn't help but nod proudly. Retrieving his gaze from Sun Wukong, Master Subhuti glanced at the other disciples below who were listening to the teachings. Most of them looked confused, completely unaware of what Master Subhuti meant, and the whole person was dizzy. Only a very small number of disciples occasionally show a look of ecstasy, but soon their faces turn sad again, probably encountering difficult to comprehend truths. When Elder Subhuti saw Yang Zhen, he couldn't help but exclaim in his heart, "Why?" He said, "This little cat actually has such intelligence." Although he saw yesterday that his true self seemed extraordinary, he didn't expect his intelligence to be so high, no less than Sun Wukong. He didn't expect that besides accepting the Lingming stone monkey, there was such an unexpected joy this time. Quickly, 7 days passed unnoticed, and Master Subhuti stopped preaching this time. After all the disciples had regained their senses from the Tao, Master Subhuti said, "This preaching is over, and we will start again in 2 months. Please come back and fully understand." "Yes." After bowing down, the disciples each left. Wukong and Wuji. You two stay for now, said Master Subhuti. Yang Zhen and Sun Wukong exchanged a glance and then went up to the seat of the founder of Subhuti, bowing and saying, "What instructions do you have, teacher? After joining my sect, I haven't passed on the cultivation method to you too. Today, I will pass on the 9-rank immortal technique to you too. After you two return, you should practice every day and not be lazy or playful," said Master Subhuti. Upon hearing these words, Yang Zhen and Sun Wukong were immediately overjoyed. This time, though it is good for their future practice, if there is no systematic cultivation method, Yang Zhen and Sun Wukong can only rely on instinct to absorb the spirit of heaven and earth, the essence of the sun and the moon. Yang Zhen, in particular, could not cultivate, but after listening to the sermon this time, Yang Zhen also understood the way to absorb the essence of the sun and the moon. Just rely on instinct to absorb the essence of the sun and the moon. Compared with the cultivation of the cultivation methods deduced by those who have great powers, the speed is far from 800 kilometers. And with the cultivation method decision this time, Yang Zhen and Sun Wukong's cultivation speed will definitely be several times faster, even dozens of times. After returning to the room, Yang Zhen quickly opened the mall system and found the Pet Double Experience Pill. Pet Double Experience Pill. Within a day, the experience gained doubles. 10 yuan treasure. Perhaps due to time travel, the mall system has mutated. The Double Experience Pill, which originally could only be used for an hour, can now be used for a day. Although this is beneficial for Yang Zhen, it should also be noted that Sun Wukong has only been practicing at Fangsuan Mountain for 20 years. As for Yang Zhen's current assets, he can only purchase 4,819 double experience pills, which only allows him to use them for a little over 13 years. After using them up, there will be no more. Yang Zhen is very depressed now. If he had known how to travel, he would have poured all his assets into the game, borrowed and robbed money everywhere, and rushed into the game. In that case, perhaps for hundreds of years, he would not lack the double experience pill to use. The most important thing is that in this world, Yang Zhen doesn't know how to recharge them all with ingots. Copper coins, gold and silver, and other items used in human world transactions, cannot be recharged. It seems that the matter of recharging can only be solved in the future. The most important thing now is to cultivate, and the double experience pill must not stop. You should know that the Monkey King is a clever stone monkey bred from the Nuwa stone. Although the Monkey King is now a novice in cultivation, just like Yang Zhen, before he was born, he absorbed the essence of the sun and the moon for countless years at the Huagua mountain top. In addition, the Monkey King's own talent is extraordinary, so it is extremely fast to cultivate. Sun Wukong only practiced for 20 years in Fangsuan Mountain and was able to defeat Neza and defeat Yang Jian. Later, he even ate countless elixirs from the Supreme Lord. It can be said that before being suppressed on Wuzishan, Sun Wukong's cultivation was definitely achieved through rocket ascent. Since Yang Zhen plans to follow Sun Wukong to eat peaches and elixirs, his cultivation must not be inferior, otherwise he may not even have the qualification to make soy sauce. Compared to Sun Wukong, Yang Zhen did not know his own qualifications, let alone Sun Wukong's absorption of countless years of heaven and earth spiritual energy at the Huagua mountain peak. Therefore, if Yang Zhen wants to keep up with Sun Wukong, the double experience pill must not stop. After buying the double experience pill, Yang Zhen glanced at his own image in the upper right corner and realized that the original level 0 had changed to level 3. Through these 7 days of listening to the teachings, Yang Zhen also learned about the cultivation level of Journey to the West. It can be roughly divided into 8 levels. Human Immortal, Earth Immortal, Heavenly Immortal, True Immortal, Tai True Immortal, Golden Immortal, Daluo Golden Immortal, Quasi-Saint, and Saint. Before De Luo Jin Xian, each level was divided into 10 levels. However, Yang Zhen's current cultivation level is only one level of Human Immortal. If judged based on the level on the mall, every 10 levels is equivalent to 1 level. That is to say, when Yang Zhen reaches level 101, he will reach the realm of Earth Immortal. The task is heavy and the road is long. Time waits for no one. After thinking for a moment, Yang Zhen no longer wasted time. After eating a double experience pill, he sat cross-legged on a futon and practiced the first level of the 9-rank immortal technique. There is another chapter before 12 o'clock, please collect and ask for tickets. Chapter 7. Sun Wukong, a local tycoon. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Time passed silently, and Yang Zhen's room was constantly emitting a dazzling light. Countless light symbols swirled across the room, forming a rotating nebula. And Yang Zhen sat in the center of the nebula, with endless light waves swirling and interweaving in various forms, forming a cocoon of light, surrounding Yang Zhen in the middle. Yang Zhen spent 2 months practicing. When the effect of the double experience pill disappeared, Yang Zhen suddenly opened his eyes, and a strange light flashed through his eyes, making him appear extraordinary and mysterious. Adjusting his own state, Yang Zhen slowly stood up, tidied up his clothes, and was ready to listen again. When the first dawn shone in the east, Yang Zhen left the room and walked towards the place where Master Subhuti preached. In 2 months, Yang Zhen reached level 35, which is the 3rd level of human immortality. This speed can be said to be extremely fast. Even those senior brothers have several disciples who have not reached the 3rd level of human and immortal cultivation. You should know, they have been practicing with the elder Subhuti for decades or even hundreds of years, but these dozens of disciples have not even a single earth immortal. Although I don't know what level Sun Wukong's cultivation has reached, I don't think he will be much higher than himself. Sitting on his own cattail, Yang Zhen eagerly waited for the appearance of Subhuti Patriarch. Not long after, the other disciples arrived in 2s and 3s, and Sun Wukong also appeared shortly after Yang Zhen arrived. Seeing Sun Wukong again, Yang Zhen had a different feeling. Previously, Sun Wukong was just an innocent monkey, but after 2 months of absence, Sun Wukong's temperament had undergone significant changes, faintly possessing a captivating aura. Perhaps Sun Wukong is transforming towards the heavenly sage, and indeed he is a skilled and courageous person. With his cultivation, Sun Wukong has also changed and is no longer the docile monkey he was at the beginning. Looking at Sun Wukong sitting next to him, Yang Zhen couldn't help but ask, "Hey, monkey, what level of cultivation have you reached?" "I have reached the realm of the 8th grade of human immortality, and you?" Sun Wukong scratched his back and chuckled. Yang Zhen. From this moment on, Yang Zhen decided not to talk to Sun Wukong anymore. It was too shocking. He thought he could reach the 3rd level of human immortality in 2 months, but he was already very powerful. Originally, Yang Zhen estimated that Sun Wukong would at most reach the 5th level of human immortality. But who could have imagined that in just 2 months, Sun Wukong had reached the 8th level of human immortality? Perhaps giving him another month would enable him to reach the realm of earth immortality. As expected, people are more deadly than others. Compared to Sun Wukong, Yang Zhen felt like a scumbag with only 5 combat power. If spoken seriously, Yang Zhen doesn't need to underestimate himself. Yang Zhen's essence is a divine beast. If he were in a game, then only his strength would be powerful. But in this real world, since Yang Zhen's essence is a divine beast, it indicates that Yang Zhen's qualifications, roots, and bloodline are all superior choices. Even compared to the Lingming stone monkey nurtured by Nyuhua stone, it is not inferior at all. The only difference between Yang Zhen and Sun Wukong is that Sun Wukong has a huge amount of heaven and earth aura, sun and moon essence in his body. After 2 months of cultivation, the aura stored in Sun Wukong begins to be transformed into magic. Therefore, Sun Wukong's cultivation will progress so quickly. Of course, Yang Zhen also understood this truth, but he couldn't help but feel unwilling. With the cheat tool of double experience pill, he couldn't compare to Sun Wukong who had used cheats. As the protagonist in Journey to the West, Golden Finger is definitely not comparable to anyone else. After all the disciples arrived, Master Subhuti also appeared on his own altar and began Yangzhen's second preaching after his apprenticeship. Listening to the teachings of the great divine master is definitely beneficial for cultivation. Firstly, it solves many confusions encountered in practice. Secondly, after understanding the heavenly way, one can avoid the 3 disasters and 5 calamities, and practicing is against heaven. After reaching a certain level of cultivation, the heavenly way will definitely bring some calamities to test the practitioners. Therefore, after understanding the heavenly way, one can have a certain degree of foresight about the calamities that will befall oneself, and thus avoid them. Finally, there are some talented individuals who can create some magical skills while comprehending the heavenly way. Knowing these benefits, Yang Zhen could be described as intoxicated, wishing that Grandmaster Subhuti would never stop. During the process of listening to the teachings, the 9-rank heavenly immortal technique also automatically operated within Yang Zhen's body, and the spiritual energy of heaven and earth gathered crazily from all directions, competing to enter Yang Zhen's body. Fortunately, Yang Zhen had already taken the double experience pill, and this time he was practicing while listening to the teachings. The speed of his cultivation was several times faster than usual. Moreover, the illusions generated by Grandmaster Subhuti during his preaching have transformed into countless truths, revolving around Yang Zhen's body. Since discovering Yang Zhen's extraordinary qualities during his last preaching, Master Subhuti has been paying attention to both Sun Wukong and Yang Zhen. Seeing that Sun Wukong's cultivation had reached the 8th level of human immortality, Grandmaster Subhuti was not only overjoyed but also somewhat dissatisfied. This monkey must be playful. If not, he will definitely reach the realm of earthly immortality. It seems that before teaching him his skills, we should first hone his character. After exploring Sun Wukong's cultivation, Subhuti Patriarch looked at Yang Zhen again. Seeing that Yang Zhen's cultivation had reached the 3rd level of human and immortal cultivation, Subhuti Patriarch was even more delighted in his heart. Sun Wukong's cultivation progress was as fast as the ancestor of Subhuti had anticipated, but it is somewhat unbelievable that Yang Zhen's cultivation can also reach the 3rd level of human and immortal within 2 months. From the perspective of Patriarch Subhuti, it is natural to see that Yang Zhen was not born long ago, so he transformed into a human-like figure and looked like a 7-year-old child. But it is this newborn kitten, whose talent and intelligence are no less than those of the great demons of the ancient demon tribe in the heavenly court period. If we can cultivate it well, our Buddhist sect will definitely be able to fill another great Luo Golden Immortal. Seeing Yang Zhen attentively listening to the Tao, Grandmaster Subhuti nodded with satisfaction. It was another 7 days, and Grandmaster Subhuti stopped preaching and announced that 2 months later, he would resume preaching. After Grandmaster Subhuti left, Yang Zhen was about to return to practice, but Sun Wukong grabbed Yang Zhen and pulled him to a corner. Sun Wukong mysteriously said, "Little cat, I found a fruit tree in the back mountain, but there is a monster guarding it nearby. Little cat, can you help me drive away that monster? How about we eat the fruit together? I don't have time to play with you." Yang Zhen, who didn't want to waste time, wanted to say no, but suddenly realized that the ancient tree that could keep monsters on the side was probably not an ordinary product. After eating it, there might be benefits. With this in mind, Yang Zhen spoke up and said, "Okay, let's go now." Chapter 8. Testing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The mountain wind howled, and the surroundings were also somewhat dim. In the past nights, the moonlight could always dye the Fangsuan mountain into a silver white, and the clear wind brushed the willows, creating a peaceful atmosphere. However, today's night was filled with strong winds and a chilling chill. The dark clouds covered the bright moon, and the wild wind completely destroyed the beautiful scenery of Fangsuan mountain. Yang Zhen and Sun Wukong were running rapidly in the forest behind Fangsuan mountain. Since agreeing to help Sun Wukong fight monsters, Yang Zhen had been running on the mountain road for over 2 hours. Fangsuan mountain is really big. Although Yang Zhen has not yet learned the art of soaring clouds and driving mist, his running speed is not slow. However, after running for 2 hours, he still hasn't reached his destination. I really don't know how Sun Wukong discovered the immortal fruit here. Monkey, how far is it? Yang Zhen couldn't help but ask, seeing that Sun Wukong had not stopped yet. Almost, almost. Sun Wukong responded. Ah. This monkey is really unreliable, Yang Zhen complained in his heart. I have no choice, since we have already run so far, it would be a bit unwillingness to just go back like this. In fact, along the way, Yang Zhen also thought of a question. Even Sun Wukong, who has reached the 8th level of cultivation as a human immortal, is not a match for that monster, and his 3rd level talent as a human immortal is probably not a match for that monster either. It seems that only San Wei Zhenhua can be used. Sigh. Little monster, don't blame me after you leave the underworld. It's all that monkey pulling me here. Besides, who taught you to keep the immortal fruit every day? A man is innocent and harbors a grudge. You can rest assured to reincarnate and not be a monster in the next life. Suddenly, Sun Wukong, who was running, slammed on the brakes and pulled Yang Zhen to hide behind an old man. He whispered, "Kitty, that monster has good strength. I'll lure him away later, and then you go pick the fruits. Don't be polite to him. Take this bag and pick all the fruits." Sun Wukong took out a bag from somewhere and handed it to Yang Zhen. Damn it. This monkey actually knows how to use a trick, to lure the tiger away from the mountain. There is wood. Amazing, indeed, not an ordinary monkey. Yang Zhen looked up and down at Sun Wukong and said, "Okay, don't worry, I promise not to leave one for that monster." Yang Zhen and Sun Wukong discussed for a while again, and Sun Wukong jumped out and shouted at the monster. As soon as the monster saw Sun Wukong, it cursed, "You monkey head, I let you run away last time. I didn't expect you to come back after only a few days. Today, I will peel your skin and dig your heart to show you the strength of your bird grandfather." The monster still had some impression of Sun Wukong. Seeing that Sun Wukong dared to come back and compete with him for immortal fruits, it became angry and decided to give him a lifelong lesson. Hiding behind the big tree, Yang Zhen secretly glanced at the bird demon. He saw that the bird demon was dressed in thick leather cloth, with pointed monkey cheeks and a few bird feathers hanging on its head, looking unattractive. It seems that monsters and humans have different aesthetic tastes. Even if they grow up like this, they dare to come out and see people. If Yang Zhen grows up like that, he will definitely undergo a transformation before going out. Sun Wukong's bird demon cursed at each other for a few words, and then they fought together. Both of them were hot-tempered, and as soon as they got to know each other, they had already exerted all their strength. Although Sun Wukong had not yet learned any fighting techniques, the Lingming stone monkey was born with divine power. In addition, Sun Wukong was born a warrior with a high talent for combat, which was terrifying. When fighting against that bird demon, he looked quite imposing. And although the bird demon has a higher cultivation than Sun Wukong, he is just a wild demon. How could he be Sun Wukong's opponent? If it weren't for his much higher cultivation, he would definitely not be Sun Wukong's opponent. Yang Zhen carefully analyzed it and realized that the cultivation of that bird demon may have reached the realm of earthly immortals. If he were to confront him, without using the Nanming Lihua mantra, it would definitely be more ominous than good. The two of them fought and deviated from the fruit tree. Under the conscious guidance of Sun Wukong and the bird demon kept getting further and further away from the fruit tree, and finally completely entered the depths of the forest. In fact, the demon race is still very pitiful. It was already very difficult for the demon race to activate their spiritual intelligence. Even if they reluctantly activated their spiritual intelligence, without anyone to guide their cultivation, they would eventually have to die peacefully. Only a very small number of demon races with great opportunities can truly embark on the path of cultivation. However, among the demon race, except for those few big demons, their intelligence is generally not very high. During their journey to the west, they were even deceived by Sun Wukong into wanting to become immortal and die. Although the demon tribes in Xinyo have been rampant recently, it is only temporary. When the journey to the west begins, the end of these monsters will also come. Sun Wukong, Tang Monk, and others who helped the local people eliminate demons were naturally able to better promote Buddhist teachings. To be honest, although the Buddhist plan may seem insignificant, there are not many major flaws. In the Battle of Fengshan, the end of Jiejiao was achieved, and the founder of Zhanjiao, Tianzun, owed a huge amount of human favor to Buddhism. Therefore, it was also destined for the great prosperity of Buddhism. The demon race is unaware of the number of days, and ultimately can only sink under the tide of history. Although Yang Zhen was also considered a member of the demon tribe in his lifetime, he did not intend to help the demon tribe avoid this calamity. Firstly, Yang Zhen has always regarded himself as a human being. Although he can now be considered a cat demon, he never considered himself to be of the same kind as those monsters. Secondly, most of the cultivators in the demon clan only do things based on their preferences, not only killing people casually, but sometimes even killing each other for land grabbing. In Yang Zhen's view, they are considered hopeless. In such a moment of wandering, Sun Wukong and the bird demon had completely disappeared, and Yang Zhen couldn't even hear the sound of fighting. It's time to work. Yang Zhen picked up his pocket and packed all the fruits on the entire fruit tree inside. Through close observation, Yang Zhen found that even the fruit is considered magical. It not only emits a tempting aroma, but also has a shimmering appearance, seemingly containing a lot of spiritual energy. Although it's still far from being a natural treasure, there are definitely many benefits to eating it. No wonder Sun Wukong insisted on grabbing this fruit, it's really worth it. Carrying a bag full of fruits, Yang Zhen ran all the way towards the designated turn location with Sun Wukong. Haha! The fruit is already in hand. When Sun Wukong returns, he will have a good meal and then go back to practice. Following Sun Wukong on this trip, Yang Zhen felt that his somewhat dull mood seemed to have improved a lot. It seems that blindly practicing behind closed doors may have some impact on one's mentality. In the future, it is also important to pay more attention to rest, come out and relax more, and achieve the best effect of combining work and rest. After waiting at the agreed location for about half an hour, Yang Zhen couldn't help feeling a bit heavy in his heart that Sun Wukong had not returned yet. In theory, the monkey should have returned long ago, but it has already passed the agreed time. However, the monkey has not returned yet. It is likely that something has happened, or it has been entangled by the bird demon and cannot be separated. It's really not a worry, Yang Zhen complained and hid the pocket containing the fruit before running towards the direction where the monkey disappeared. Yang Zhen didn't know that after he left, the elder Subhuti suddenly appeared out of thin air. He smiled inexplicably as he looked in the direction of Yang Zhen's disappearance, and then set up auspicious clouds and flew towards the direction of the 3-star cave. Chapter 9. 7 Years. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Zhen's days in Fangsuan Mountain can be said to be carefree, either practicing in his room or wandering around in the mountains every day. Grandmaster Subhuti, on the other hand, opens an altar to preach every 2 months. Every time he preaches, Yang Zhen listens very attentively. With the help of the double experience pill, Yang Zhen's cultivation increases rapidly. As the saying goes, there is no armor in the mountains. In a blink of an eye, this carefree time passed for 7 years. Within 7 years, Yang Zhen's cultivation level reached the 10th level of the Earth Immortal, only 1 step away, and he could reach the realm of the Heavenly Immortal. Among the disciples of Subhuti Patriarch, his cultivation level was second only to Sun Wukong, and even more than those of his senior brothers and sisters. Although Yang Zhen's cultivation has grown rapidly, compared to Sun Wukong, it has slowed down a lot. Now, Sun Wukong has reached the level of the 6th true immortal. Looking at the entire 3 realms, although he is still far from the top experts, he is definitely at an above-average level. Recently, however, Yang Zhen apparently felt that the cultivation speed of Sun Wukong had slowed down. He was afraid that after a period of time, the aura of heaven and earth, the essence of the sun and the moon that Sun Wukong had accumulated before would be consumed. It was time for Yang Zhen to catch up. Since the incident 7 years ago, the relationship between Yang Zhen and Sun Wukong has suddenly improved a lot. According to Sun Wukong, Yang Zhen was his life-saving benefactor. If Yang Zhen hadn't arrived in time, Sun Wukong might not have seen the sun the next day. Of course, Yang Zhen also understood that even if he did not go to save Sun Wukong, Grandmaster Subhuti would not let Sun Wukong have any trouble. After that incident, Sun Wukong regarded Yang Zhen as his brother, and Yang Zhen was also happy about it. He occasionally exchanged feelings with Sun Wukong. Today, it's time for the preaching of Patriarch Subhuti again. This time, Sun Wukong seemed to have been possessed by a demon. Not only did he scratch his ears and cheeks, smile, but he also danced and strutted around, causing trouble for his disciples who couldn't rest assured and frowned and scolded Sun Wukong. Upon seeing this, Grandmaster Subhuti stopped preaching and asked Sun Wukong, "Why are you dancing wildly in your class and not listening to me with peace of mind?" Upon hearing this, Sun Wukong replied, "I sincerely listened to the lecture, but I was overjoyed when I heard the teacher talk about the wonderful aspects. Therefore, I did not realize that I had made this enthusiastic gesture. I hope Master can forgive me." Upon hearing this, Grandmaster Subhuti asked, "Since you know the wonderful sound, let me ask you, how many days have you been in the cave?" Sun Wukong said, "I have always been ignorant and don't know how many seasons. I only remember that there was no fire under the stove, and I often went to the back of the mountain to gather firewood. When I saw a good fruit tree, I ate there 7 times and was full." Upon hearing this, Grandmaster Subhuti nodded and smiled, "Since you have eaten it 7 times, it will be 7 years. What kind of Taoist teachings do you want to learn from me today?" Sun Wukong was overjoyed upon hearing the words of Grandmaster Subhuti and said, "But with the guidance of the teacher." Although Sun Wukong said, "But with the guidance of his teacher," it is clear that Sun Wukong wanted to learn the art of immortality. Grandmaster Subhuti spoke several Taoist teachings in a row, but Sun Wukong refused to learn them. Grandmaster Subhuti was rejected by Sun Wukong several times in a row, seeming a bit annoyed. With a thud sound, he jumped off the high platform, held a ruler, and pointed at Sun Wukong, saying, "You monkey, you don't learn either. What do you really want to learn?" After speaking, Grandmaster Subhuti walked forward and struck Sun Wukong on the head 3 times. He then turned his back and walked inside, closing the middle gate, leaving behind his disciples. Yang Zhen sat at the back of the disciples and couldn't help but be stunned by this classic scene. From now on, Master Subhuti will start a small stove for Sun Wukong, which can also be considered the beginning of Sun Wukong's true success. Looking at Sun Wukong in front with a glint of joy in his eyes, Yang Zhen could be said to be extremely jealous. Sun Wukong is really lucky. Although he doesn't work as hard as me in his daily practice, he has been practicing for thousands of miles due to being behind his feet. Now he has gained the favor of Master Subhuti, who opened a small stove for him alone and taught him divine skills. They are also apprentices together, but how can they receive such a big difference in treatment? It's all this dead monkey. If it weren't for him, perhaps Subhuti Patriarch would have passed on your secret technique and divine skill alone. Suddenly, a voice filled with *** rang out in Yang Zhen's mind. As soon as the voice came out, Yang Zhen suddenly became clear-headed. Then, his internal magic power operated, stabilizing his mind and killing the newly rising demon. Who? It's really dangerous. I didn't expect a heart demon to be born so easily. If it weren't for my strong willpower and listening to the teachings of Master Subhuti for 7 years, I might have been taken advantage of by the heart demon. On this side, Yang Zhen was overjoyed to eliminate his inner demons. Sun Wukong had already been surrounded by the disciples of the founder of Subhuti. His senior brother pointed at Sun Wukong and cursed, "You are so unreasonable. Master wants to teach you Taoism, why don't you learn it and talk back to Master?" This collision has caused Master to wait for 2 months before he can listen to Master's teachings. The other disciples also complained about Sun Wukong and criticized him one after another. Sun Wukong was not angry at all, but instead had a smile on his face. Because Sun Wukong had already seen through the riddles played by Patriarch Subhuti when he left, he did not argue with the crowd. Anyway, he had already gained benefits, so it was okay for them to say a few words. Originally, Master Subhuti hit Sun Wukong 3 times, actually teaching him to be mindful during the 3rd shift. Turning one's back and walking inside, closing the middle door, is to let Sun Wukong enter through the back door and pass on Sun Wukong's teachings in a secret place. The martial arts that can be secretly taught by Master Subhuti must be the ultimate skill that Master Subhuti has mastered. Therefore, Sun Wukong has been smiling all day and is simply overjoyed. As for Yang Zhen, after he extinguished the small flame of jealousy in his heart, he had completely opened up. This was Sun Wukong's chance. Being able to worship under the tutelage of Master Subhuti was already a great opportunity. If he was too greedy, he was afraid that even heaven would not be able to take it down. As for the idea of following Sun Wukong to steal knowledge or deceiving Sun Wukong to teach himself, Yang Zhen never thought about it. If Grand Master Subhuti discovers himself, it will be difficult to explain. Being expelled from the sect is considered light, and if one abolishes cultivation, it will not be worth the loss. Yang Zhen has always believed that the reason why Patriarch Subhuti was able to accept himself as a disciple was mostly due to the fact that he and Sun Wukong came together to worship. Otherwise, with the teachings of Patriarch Subhuti, how could he be attracted to such a monster like himself? Influenced by the conspiracy theory of his previous life's journey to the west, Yang Zhen has always believed that Subhuti's acceptance of Sun Wukong as his disciple was premeditated, and that Subhuti Patriarch is more likely to be a clone of the sage Xuanti. Although it is only a clone, it is still a clone of the sage. Therefore, Yang Zhen not only shows great respect for Subhuti Patriarch, but also has deep fear in his heart. Forget it, this is Sun Wukong's chance. I will eventually be able to wait for my own chance. If the time is not right, all my efforts will be in vain, Yang Zhen thought to himself.